So we hear people talking today about the real estate workplace is different. Why is it different? Well, for one reason, real estate is a huge target. It's actually like the last huge target. If you think about the commissions earned in real estate annually, just the commission dollars, about $100 billion a year in commissions. $100 billion. Where'd that come from? There are about 6 million sales a year. And if the average sales price is about $250,000 and 6% commission, you can do the math. But we're up around $100 billion in commission. That's a big target. That's huge. People come into the business, they say, I want a piece of that $100 billion in commission. Zillow comes in, they say, I want a piece of that $100 billion. Troika, I want a piece of that $100 billion. That's a lot of money. Put it in perspective, the total annual revenues on eBay, $9.5 billion. So just know, real estate, we don't think about the big target real estate is, but it's giant. Consumer expectations are changing. And we're going from mass production to mass customization. Now that's an important thing to keep in mind. Whereas mass production was once what ruled the world, really. That's what we were all trying to do. Companies were trying to do, mass produce things. But technology today allows for mass customization. And that is changing the world. And we'll see how that happens in real estate. Well, I already talked about the change. The iPhone's only been around 13 years. Massive change in what you to think about. I got the first iPhone. There it is. It was a white one called a girl's iPhone. I don't know why. They gave me a bunch of trouble at point two when I had that white iPhone, right? But that was and when we would go to dinner, we would sit around at dinner and we'd all be asking questions and looking them up for like the first year. That was like the most novel thing. So people's behaviors change. And then people's concepts of rudeness change. You know, it used to be if I was at dinner with somebody and they got on their phone, I would be offended by that. It seems like nobody's offended by that anymore. People are always talking to you. They're on their phone at the same time. They're texting at the same time. So habits are changing. Perceptions are changing. And consumers' expectations are changing. Still, for you as a realtor, I recommend when you're with a client, stay with them. Right? So now we also know this, that the velocity of innovation is accelerating. That the changes are coming faster and faster and faster. And that's one of the reasons people are saying it's different this time. Because the velocity of the innovation is accelerating. Now, real important point in real estate, and what's made real estate one of the last areas to be conquered by technology is that there's a lack of liquidity. And so when you buy a piece of real estate, if you want to sell it, typically there's a period of time that it takes to sell it. Somebody wants to buy it, they don't usually have all cash, they have to get a loan, it takes 45 days to get the loan, but before they even came in and made the offer, you had to advertise it and put it on the market, so there's a lack of liquidity. Now real estate's got marketability, but there's a lack of liquidity, and so that's affected real estate and what you could do with it for many, many years. But now we have new business models that will facilitate liquidity in the acquisition and disposition of real property. And this is a very critical point, right? New business models facilitate liquidity, make it easier to get your money out. How important is you to get your money out of real estate today? If it's not important, you're not concerned with liquidity. But some people want to get their money out right away. And it doesn't have to be everybody that wants to get their money out right away, because remember I talked about long tail. If some of the people want to get their money out right away, you can create something today with the technology that allows them to do that. So new business models facilitate liquidity in the acquisition and disposition of real property. Now, this slide just changes over time, but this will give you an idea when I talk about the capital that's coming into the real estate space. And if you're a small broker, you just went out and got your broker's license and you're worried about, or you're an agent, you just got your license and you're worried about where you're going to get enough money to pay your MLS dues. Because I know people like that. Where are you going to get enough money to join the board of realtors? But look at all this money flowing into the real estate space. They're after the business. Open Door in 2016 got 200, Open Door owned by Zillow, 210 million, and they were valued at $1 billion. Redfin in July of 2017 raised 138 million bucks. Compass. Now Compass, and people are worried about Redfin, they're worried about Compass. Compass raised $450 million. Now you just got your real estate license and you don't have $120 to pay your MLS fees. And you've got companies out there that are spending investors. I tell you what, you got $450 million in the bank, you can make a lot of mistakes and stay in business. Open Door, another round, $135 million. Purple Bricks, March of last year, $177 million. SoftBank put $800 million into Compass and Open Door. And so we can just make these lists up. It's just like unbelievable billions of dollars flowing into the real estate space. And that's why people say this time it's different. Now, I talked about when Prudential purchased Merrill Lynch in 1989 for $300 million. That kind of matches these numbers, right? So we had that kind of big, we had big money before, but not like this.